Hey travelers, today on the channel we're going to go ahead and get into For Rent with my sim being a tenant. Okay, so here we are, and we're just reviewing the tenant agreement. There aren't any rules with this one, so none of the rules are active. And it says it's $65 a day, 65 simoleons a day, but to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure how that works because there was no time at any point during this recording where it allowed me to pay my daily bill or anything like that. And I don't know if it means I'll pay at the end of 7 days or what. So, in case you hadn't realized or figured it out because I didn't say it, I lost my audio during this recording. So, this is me on a voiceover a couple days after recording this. And I'm just getting my self-sim familiar with the rental. And I'm also going to basically do other things like cook and wait around to see if the welcome wagon comes, because I didn't know whether or not the welcome wagon still shows up if you're in a rental. And as it turns out it does, and you'll see the changes I made during a little speed build was just the desk and the computer and the new stove and refrigerator. So now I'm just going to make some food. I am going to try and make food that came with this pack, so food that is particular to Tomarong, but we'll see whether or not we stay with that. I also, in this particular Let's Play, I go ahead and use the kettle a few times too, and that's actually a lot of fun. Very interesting. I'm just clicking on the For Rent sign to see whether or not there's anything about paying my bills there. And I do the same thing with the mailbox and also with my self-sim's phone. And there isn't. There is no pay your bill option at all. I'm hoping that I'll come up after 7 days, but we can't guarantee that it will. Because this pack is very buggy and there's a lot of glitch stuff going on. So we went ahead and leveled up the cooking skill, which is good. And I haven't put any personal effects into this build at all. I hadn't wanted to. They've got a couple of things in their personal inventory. Like the little tiger stuffed animal and a poster from the tiger sanctuary. But I haven't put them up because I just don't want to risk losing them when I leave this particular game behind. So we will do 3 episodes of my sim being a tenant. This is episode 1, and then there'll be 2 others. And then we will move on to other Sims 4 builds and other games. And in January, we will move to Season 2 of Banished. So hopefully you guys are all looking forward to that. So now I'm just kind of seeing how big this space is, what counts as their apartment and what doesn't. And I'm very pleased to note that this little porch counts as their rental, and so does the outside porch, because this apartment over here doesn't have a front door. Now, it did have a front door when I first checked this lot out in the game on my own, but it doesn't anymore, so I don't know what happened. I don't know if I accidentally deleted the front door or if the game did. I'm not sure, but anyway. And we have earbuds in our inventory, and we are eating the food we made. And we're drinking hot cocoa with marshmallows from the kettle. Alright, so now I'm just cleaning some stuff up for them so they don't have to do it all. I do really like the live or live drag, it's nice. Okay, so here are my sim is just doing some other cooking type stuff. And in the background, you can see that the welcome wagon has shown up. Here's this dude with the fruitcake. And my Sim's social need is quite low, so I'm quite glad that the welcome wagon will be showing up. And so we're going to go ahead and go and greet them. And then after we greet at least most of them, we will invite them in. And the funniest thing happens when we invite them in, which doesn't usually happen. Doesn't usually happen in the game in general. I'm going to lock the bedroom doors for the household, though, just the household. I don't want them coming in and using the computer, and I don't want them in my Sims room either, so... But I'm going to greet them. Let's go ahead and greet them. The Tomarani introduction, and then also just inviting them all inside. And this is the part where I found it really funny. And yeah, I do have Frank's language mod installed, so it tells me what language is being spoken. And so I do think it's odd that the language mod, as far as I know, hasn't been updated to include a Tomarani language, which there would be one, so it's strange to me that that's not been updated yet. But I also haven't checked it in a few days, so if you guys know that it has been updated to include a Tomarani language, please let me know in the comments. So then I go ahead and invite them all in, and then inviting them in is weird because they literally all just stand there in the hallway. They stand there in the hallway. And normally when you have the welcome wagon and you invite them in, I'm going to go ahead and cook them some food, a group meal, and set it out. Anyway, so they all stand in the hallway. But usually when you invite Sims into your home, especially if they show up to your house randomly, and when this welcome wagon thing happens, usually they come in and they sit down and they watch your TV and they play with your stuff. And, they act genuinely and generally kind of irritating with your house. And for some reason, they're just standing in the hallway. And even though I don't like it when they go around watching my television and all that kind of stuff, I much prefer them coming in and sitting down and hanging out to them standing in the hallway. The standing in the hallway is definitely weird, and they do it forever. So now I for a second there, I was looking at that potted plant thing. I was maybe gonna purchase seeds for it, but I decided not to, and to instead go back to cooking. So I'm making something at the kettle, and then I already set up a thing to cook at the pressure cooker. I believe it's a pressure cooker, the new appliance. It's great. I like it. And cooking's in progress. And now I go in and I'm talking to the Sims in my hallway. And I was checking this person to make sure they weren't part of the welcome wagon. And they're not. They're random Sims standing out in front of my house in the rain for some reason. Anyway, and so then it takes a long time for them to make themselves at home. I move the fruitcake thinking maybe they'll serve themselves fruitcake, and they don't. So I move away from them, and honestly, they all just stand there in the hallway until the food is done. And then it's like they feel like they're welcome. I'm releasing the pressure on this Burmese soup. And I originally put it on the table over here, but then I'm going to move it over there and see if maybe that gets them to... I even call to meal, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't call to meal weirdly on this dish. The call to meal option isn't there, which is strange and not appreciated by me, because even though I grabbed all the servings and it's out of the pressure cooker, you should still be able to call to meal. So now I'm going to make a cup of coffee from the kettle, and just the first one, the first new one from the new pack. I'm not sure what kind of coffee it is because it doesn't really say. It doesn't describe it the way the meals are described. I think it does describe it somewhere, maybe in the bar menu, or maybe if you just have drinks from the refrigerator. I'm not sure, but it doesn't describe it here, so I'm not sure what it is. So, but I am trying to utilize the new foods and drinks that came with the new pack. That's the point, is what I'm trying to say. So far, I think being a tenant is going well. It's not buggy or glitchy as far as I can tell. Except for these people just standing in the hallway. They're in my house and they're invited over, but they really are just hanging around in the hallway. So now is when I move the food. I prepared, and this is the first time someone does something that's not just standing around chatting in the hallway. So you'll see that. Yeah, so see, they take some food and they go sit down, and then I'm pretty sure others follow. So that's really, yep, there we go. There's a second person taking food and sitting down, which is good because honestly, just standing around in the hallway is weird. Definitely a strange thing going on because usually, like I said, they watch your TV and use your stuff and sit in your house and etc. And then it's like he can't figure out where to go. Yeah, because there's no places at the table. So then it's like he puts his food down and goes to sit and or something, and I can't figure out why he didn't go ahead and just eat the food on the couch. It's very strange. Okay, so we basically just carry on with the welcome wagon like the whole time. And like I let the welcome wagon have their entire time here, and I let them be here organically as possible. And then when they're done, oh, this is me checking the neighborhood stories. I check them several times in this episode, and every time there's something somewhat interesting going on, which I find really cool. Like somebody adopted a child, somebody got a promotion, somebody started a new job. Like it's, I don't know, I think the neighborhood stories thing is really pretty cool. I know not everyone likes it, but I actually really like it. I do want to say that I still feel like this pack is really empty. This is an empty world with nothing to do, with things that don't work. The night market is fine. And my sim wants to go, so I'm going to let them eventually. But most of the stalls are facades and not things you can click on or anything you can do, right? So again, this pack is so empty. Like, it's got great functionality for the tenants, not so great functionality for being a landlord. There's like barely anything to do unless you build a rundown rental. And then even so, like, the tenants don't have options that I would normally suspect for being tenants. And then, like I said, there's just a lack of life in this world. It's empty. There aren't events specific to Tomarong. There aren't events. There aren't festivals. There's the night market, but it's pretty lame. Like, in terms of most of the market places in the night market are facades. There's only a couple of them that you can actually click on and purchase things. Nothing happens there. There's no clubs in this world. There's one lounge, and for me in my game it's broken. Bartenders don't show up, and actually right now I'm experiencing a bug where no matter what world I'm in at a lounge, bartenders don't show up. No one does. It says there's a mixologist already hired or staff already hired on the slot, and then they never show up. It's a bug I'm experiencing. Please let me know in the comments if you're experiencing anything similar. I'd like to know about it. And then this world's just really empty. There's nothing to do. Like, the rentals is cool. They're really cool to build. It's definitely a good building pack. Like, I definitely recommend it if you're a builder. If what you like most is building, then I recommend the pack. But if what you like most is gameplay, there's almost none here. There's nothing traditional you can go and do. You can go to the Rabbit Hole Sanctuary, but after you've been a couple times, that's that. You can go to the Rabbit Hole, that's the Tiger Sanctuary. You can go to the Rabbit Hole Temple too, but again, go a couple times and it's done. There isn't anything else in the pack. It's super, super empty. Most of the buildings are facades. You can't click on them or do anything. There aren't enough lots that they gave us in this world. Most of the lots you see should be real lots. They should have given us real lots instead of building a whole bunch of facades, but they built a whole bunch of facades. There's this new Tomarong truth thing, and this person tells me a whole thing about their cat being a burglar for several months, and how they wouldn't turn their cat in for it because, you know, he was a cat. And I thought that part was really funny and kind of cute. Like, it was nice to see something interesting about this person and about, in terms of the ability to tell a Tomarani or Tomarong truth was a new thing in the game, and I liked that. But, like, there's not enough new stuff. So then they leave, welcome wagons over, and they just go right back to their own side of the house. This is definitely, I just realized, it's a duplex, which is fine. And so then my self-sim's going to go ahead and take the trash out, and then I'll put the servings away in the refrigerator. And basically, like, there's not a whole there's not a whole lot else that happens during this playthrough. I have them shower, I have them go to sleep, but there's not a whole lot to do. Not only is the game, this particular pack, really empty, but there's like nothing really going on, like nothing to do. So it's just regular gameplay and with no nuance and nothing like really fun. I do think that the new foods are a lot of fun. Like, it's really interesting to read their little cards that, the descriptions that come with them. I can't pronounce most of them, but it is a lot of fun, actually, to read about the new foods and to have your sim experience them. I like that. But I think the fact that the only thing you can do with this is if you're a builder, you'll really enjoy this pack. It's a lot of fun to build these little rentals. It really is. But if you like gameplay, there's not much. There's some new foods. There's the really empty night market. There's 2 rabbit hole experiences. And, there's not much else. Like, I imagine if you're playing in a really run-down rental, you might see your landlord more often. Stuff might break more often. There might be slightly more interest or something. And this lot itself has there may be mold lot trait, which I was like, oh no. But, I played for 45 minutes and that never happened. And this is my sim watching, like, Sims 4 version of Teen Wolf, I think. I've never seen that show, but that's what I assume is going on the television. And I had them channel surf, and they didn't really. They just landed on this one channel and didn't watch anything else. Like, they didn't actually channel surf, which is funny. And then they go to a news sports coverage program. But it seems definitely more like news, but sports coverage with the news. So it's probably just a sports coverage program, which is fine. I mean, my sim doesn't like sports, so it doesn't make any sense that they'd be watching a sports coverage program, but whatever. And I debate traveling somewhere for a while, and then I realize there's ice skating on the TV, and that's actually kind of cool. And also I'm realizing that my sim is really tired, so even though it's only like 5 p.m. in Sim World in Tomarang, I go ahead and set them to bed. And then I have NPC voting off. I have voting disabled for the Eco Lifestyle pack. And yet still weird things get enacted and voted for. And I don't know why that is. Like, why on earth would I be able to disable NPC voting? No one is voting for these things. And then these laws and stuff pass anyway. It's just bizarre. Like, disabling the voting for NPCs should mean that nothing passes because nothing's being voted for, but I get this weird stuff in my game anyway where there are brand new, like, eco-lifestyle related laws, even though I have as many functionalities of that pack turned off as possible. Then I realized there's an electrical box on the side of this rental, and I'm like, yay! That could maybe develop some interest as we go forward in playing, but I don't know if it actually will. I can't really tell. And then my sim is desperate for Lulu and also really, really hungry. So we'll go ahead and make sure they take care of their needs. And for some reason they got stuck sitting on the edge of the bed for a moment, but they're unstuck now and they'll see to their needs. And I do decide to go ahead and make them some food, and I think we go with the Halo or Halo, depending on how you pronounce that, I think. Or maybe this is when we make the steak tartare. I've never made steak tartare in the game. I don't know if that's a new recipe or if it's one that, came with a different pack. I don't have any idea. But I'm a vegetarian in real life, and my self-sim isn't for this Let's Play. Usually they are. Usually vegetarian is one of the traits I give my self-sim, because I'm a vegetarian. But for this one, I wanted them to experience everything that was possible to experience with the Tomarang culture, so I decided to go ahead and make it okay for them to eat whatever, basically. They're a foodie and they eat whatever. So they go ahead and make the steak tartare. I'm not exactly sure what steak tartare is. I've seen it made on some food cooking shows and food channel stuff. And I know it's usually topped with egg yolk, and I know it's mixed, like it's chopped raw steak, and it's usually mixed with things like maybe grated onion, maybe other spices, possibly some oil and vinegar or something, but I'm not entirely sure, and I usually know it's served with toast, like grilled slices of baguette or something, and it seems to me like from the menu item on the Sims 4 that that's what's going on. but I've never had it in the game or made it in the game, so I thought it'd be interesting for them to make it in the game. And we'll see a little bit more about that in a second, while they are desperately hungry. And we have an apple failed to germinate. So the other people over here that we can't see, one of them's in the backyard trying to plant an apple in this little pot, and it's failing to germinate. That's a glitch. The failing to germinate is a glitch. I think if they were planting it on the ground, it might be fine. I think it's this little pot is too small, but they continue to try to plant it. So I just move the potted plant thing. I move it in the hopes that they'll just give up and do something else, but they don't, and they go try and plant it again, as far as I remember. And I don't know whether or not they're actually successful at planting it. I think they are successful once I've moved the plant pot. That was a funny little thing to accidentally say on camera. I think they're successful at planting the apple, but they weren't before that. And I think it's odd that anything on this lot, since it was built by Maxis or EA, built by EA, I think, would be not really like in the right place to be functional. That's just odd. Like, it's something so strange about these kinds of EA built stuff. Honestly, they're just weird. And then like they sit down and they find something smelly, and I don't know why they think something's smelly. It doesn't make any sense. I check the counter, it's clean. I go and check everything else, it's clean. Like, I don't understand why they think something is smelly. But they do, so they eat the food anyway. And even though one of their whims is to eat food, when they're done eating this food, that whim doesn't go away. It just stays there, which is kind of strange. And it says eat food due to low hunger, and I'm like, yeah, so they eat food, and yet that whim doesn't go away. So definitely there is some stuff that is bugged now, or glitchy now, that wasn't glitchy or bugged before this new pack. And I find that so suspicious and so weird. So then now I'm checking the phone to see if there's anywhere I can go to pay the bills for this rental. And there isn't. There's nowhere, there's no option to pay bills. None at all. I can't pay any bills. I checked neighborhood stories again, and this is where I think, someone got promoted to charity organizer. So I actually think that's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, there's nowhere to pay the bills. I can give notice for 500 simoleons or something like that. And I think that's notice of vacating, I think. But there's nowhere to, like, pay the bill. I even click on the landlord's front door to see if it's, to see if I can post a payment to them. You can't. So then I have my sim change outfits, and we are pretty much nearly done with this episode. Their friend comes to visit, which I like. I definitely want to encourage them having a friend. I don't know the friend's pronouns, so that's why I'm using they, them for the friend. But the friend does come to visit, and the apple did plant after I moved that potted plant. And I do go ahead and put some incense out here on this thing, and basically that's it. Like, that's the whole episode of my playing as a tenant, and I feel like it went really smoothly. It went a lot more smoothly. It went a lot more smoothly than being a landlord. Being a landlord was like one weird thing after another and one bug after another. And again, I still have that bartender bug from when I was a landlord too, where no bartender ever showed up. But I've already repaired my game once, so I don't think that's it. And I've already been through all my mods and removed anything that had anything to do with bartending, so we'll see on next play whether or not that's fixed. So anyway, I think it went really smoothly being a tenant. Yeah, there wasn't much to do. Honestly, there wasn't. Oh, and here I get my mail, and then no mail shows up. There is no mail in my inventory at all. There's no mail on a countertop anywhere. There's no mail on the ground. I get the mail, and there isn't any. They want to go to a festival with me, but I just decide not to, and then they come over, I'm pretty sure, after that, which is fine with me. And also the landlord's going to show up in a minute, but they don't show up to inspect anything. They really just show up. See, look, this is me getting out some mail, and it says I have mail, and then I don't have an email in my inventory or anywhere else. So anyway, I'm going to cook some food, and the landlord will show up, and they'll really show up for no reason and to do absolutely nothing. And then their friend will come over for a little while, and that's pretty much the it of it. Like, that's how that goes. Here's me making the halo halo, or halo halo. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. This is the property owner coming over, and I do invite him in, but he doesn't do anything. He comes in, sits down, and watches the television. Like, that's all. Like, I'm very tempted to send him home, so I do at first, but then I cancel that action and invite him in, because I feel like sending him home would be really rude, and I do want a good relationship with my landlord. So, this halo halo thing has mango in it, and in real life, I don't like mango, but I figured, it's my sim, it's not actually me, so they can eat whatever they want to eat, and I'd like them to experience all the foods possible, at least for now. So yeah, that is everything that happened in this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope you enjoyed just sort of seeing this from the tenant perspective. We'll have 2 more episodes of For Rent Tenant, and then we'll move on to other things. Like I said, the landlord doesn't do anything. They come over and they do nothing. So, yeah. Okay, so please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you liked anything about this video, please give me a like. We could really use them on my channel. I could really use likes and comments. I do want to engage with you. I will respond to your comments if you leave them. I respond to everyone's comments. Even if it's just to give it a little heart, I do respond. So I am around on my channel if you need me and if you want to reach me. The community tab is always a good idea for you to check and for you to check in with, because I usually post some updates there and sometimes some polls. You can follow me on X at travingo-tales, and that's always where I post what the next new video on the channel is. So anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day wherever you're at in yours. Bye, travelers.